Hey everyone, my name is Jeremy Barber, and this is my ePortfolio. First off, I'd like to apologize for the beeping in the background. I have tried everything and have not been successful. So my website is barberportfolio.weebly.com, and when you go there, this is the home screen you'll see. First thing you should see is my name in large font. Underneath it, you'll see some drop-down menus, and we'll go through that a little bit later. The first thing you see is my graphic metaphor on the right, and a picture of me, along with a small description of where I come from and where I'm going as far as education. Under that you see two tabs, teaching and coaching, which can also be found underneath about me. So under teaching, I've just given a background of my teaching jobs so far, from student teaching to where I currently am, as well as some recent news at my current teaching job of the program I have taken over. I also like to include an image over here, kind of shows my style, what my classroom looks like, kind of what I am. Next, let's move to coaching. So I have been coaching high school sports for 5 years now. I'm in my 5th year right now, and so this gives a little description of what kind of coach I am, where I've come from, why I want to be a coach. And then it highlights the two sports I've coached at the high school level, softball and soccer. I currently am coaching softball at my school I've been teaching at for 2 years now. And coaching is a huge part of my life, so I wanted to include that as well. Next, you'll find the qualifications, and if you click on it, you'll be brought to a page which also has buttons that align to these tabs as well. Under qualifications, I have resume, certifications, PD, and accomplishments. The resume, if you click on it, will just be taken in my resume. Certification, you'll see my cert, secondary math. Under professional development, I have listed professional developments I have taken, the biggest one being Project Prime. And lastly, under qualifications is accomplishments. Just things I've done in my career so far as education. The mentor program I mentioned earlier, my evaluations, as well as a thing about Blackboard. Also under resume, you'll find recommendations that I have from previous principals, athletic director, department chairs as well. Up next, under technology, you will find 4 more buttons relating to the 4 drop-down menus: research in the classroom, class website, my creations. And this is a nice image of my website I use for my classroom, which you'll see in a second. So to me, this is probably one of the most important parts of the ePortfolio, especially since I'll be using this to apply for a technology job somewhere in a school district, is some things I've done and the research behind it. So up first under research is our big literature review from earlier this year. Mine was about how technology impacts high school math. Feel free to take a read about it. A lot about classroom engagement, as well as using calculators in the classroom. Then under in the classroom, you will find technology pieces I use in the classroom today. Kahoot, great review game. You can make your own questions. TI Inspires, those are the calculators we use. Prezi, it's the next level of PowerPoint. Promethean board. The TI Navigator is a Wi-Fi connection for the TI Inspires. We have iPads. I've been in a school that has been one-to-one with iPads, so I have a lot of success promoting and using the iPad in the classroom. Remind, which used to be Remind 101. Twitter, I have a professional Twitter where kids can reach me and post questions or just reminders. And then these are some of the apps I've used on the iPads. So these are just pieces of technology that I still use in the classroom. Up next is my class website. This is a little screenshot of it. You can click on this button, it'll take you to my website. So I use Weebly, it's free, it's nice. I like it because a lot of school districts change every so often, so I don't have to adapt, I can just use my free Weebly. And then I've also used Blackboard at my previous school district I was in, which was pretty easy to use since I had been familiar with it from other college courses. And then lastly, under technology is my creations. things to do with technology that I've created over my time at Saginaw Valley. Up first, my Powtoons. It was for my TI Inspire workshop. A Prezi I made for my students when they were making their own Prezis this year, just to give them an example. Voki I made, my TI Inspire workshop that we had to create, along with the flyer and what the workshop was all about. Then a paper I wrote about technology issues in school, and then a unit I created that was completely technology based. It could be used for distance learners or even in the classroom right now. Up next we have Classroom, and under here you'll find my philosophies on teaching, my classroom management, literacy and math. A lot of these I already had created from my undergrad at Grand Valley, so I wanted to include those to get a little feel of how my teaching style is. Once again, the 3 buttons relate to the drop down menu. Up first is my teaching philosophy. I don't want to bore you, but you can take a read. Up next, my management philosophy. And lastly, literacy and math. So I included my philosophy in that, as well as our literacy profiles we made in TEMS 614. So that's everything on my portfolio. I have made some changes. I did get some great feedback, a lot of grammar mistakes, which I've gone through and sat down with some English teachers to help me with that, as well as including a graphic metaphor, which I did not have at first. There was also some great feedback on changing the descriptions of these. I kind of shortened them and included more about how I use it rather than what it's about. Also, I updated all my links so they can click here and it will take them to Kahoot so they can make their own Kahoot or check it out. So I made sure that all those are working. I also had some feedback on my Twitter and email button up here about how the size may not be noticeable. That's not something I can change, so I could not do anything with that. Also, I had a comment about the background image here, how it doesn't change, so people didn't know they were on a different page. I have it changing when you click on these, but sometimes when you click on a drop down it doesn't change. So I was trying to make it change every so often, but also keep it professional. I did put too much color in there. I'm not a fancy person. This is kind of, my style. Not really boring, but just clean and simple. That's really it. I hope you enjoyed my ePortfolio. Thank you for listening.